Welcome to Trivia Club.
Hey, we're live! Hey everybody, welcome to the Deep Thoughts on SNL podcast and SNL review and discussion show. My name is Rob Moden. With me today are...
Brian Edwards.
There you go. There you go. And
Leah Sueko.
Woo! One day we'll get alphabetical order correct. We'll figure it out just on our own. It'll be very natural. Today we're here to talk about episode 2 of season 40, which is Sarah Silverman and musical guest Maroon 5. Now, Brian, what did you think of this episode overall?
Overall, I really liked it from, I think, start to finish. There wasn't really a big dead sketch for me. Some I liked more than others, but I thought they used Sarah a lot, which I always like with the host. I don't like it when the host kind of disappears, and I thought they used her really well. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Leah?
Yeah, I thought it was really great. Yeah. I would say that I didn't think that there was really a standout sketch, but I thought overall, like, they were all sketches.
Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Solid overall. Well, well, let's talk about the first sketch first. I hate myself for saying that. I don't know why. The cold open, Obama on 60 Minutes. I thought it was a big meh. It was a big meh.
It was meh.
The cold opens just never... I feel like there's no point even talking about the cold opens because they're always pretty shitty to me.
They're always topical, political, and I get why. It's a live show. They kind of should be topical, and obviously politics is a big thing. They got someone who can play the president. He does a good job with it. He had some good jokes. I like the whole you can do more with faves and RTs. Those are retweets, like explaining net lingo. I thought was cute, and that the Zach Braff Kickstarter is actually funneling money to ISIS. But I'm not great on. I'm crazy about political sketches overall, but
something about the structure to me just seemed like really kind of forced, and because it was just like reading a funny tweet, hashtag, tweet, hashtag. Like it was just very. Also, how do you think they decide on what show is the framing format of the sketch? Because last week it was CNN, and then this week it was 60 Minutes for no real reason.
No. Yeah, I agree. And I didn't, like, even last week, I didn't get, like, when they said it was a State of the Union, to me, in my head, maybe I just don't know any better, it's Canadian, but State of the Union is the president addressing what's going on in the country.
Leah, what's up with that? Talk to us as an American.
The president wasn't in that at all. It was about the NFL.
Leah?
Wait, about the State of the Union?
Yeah, last week
why did they call it the
State of the Union
last week? Wait, is that the name of the CNN show? Is State of the Union?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Leah, we're asking you. You're the American.
Okay, then my response is probably.
Okay, thank you for the answer. That's all we wanted.
It definitely wasn't the State of the Union, because that would have been the president speaking.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's probably the show title. I don't know. I don't watch State of
the Union. It'd be a huge get for CNN if every week they had the president on. Just to talk, his fireside chats.
It's like Rob Ford's old radio show.
And then YouTube show, and then not a show.
Oh.
Does Obama still do the fireside chats on YouTube every week?
I don't think so.
He did? He did it for a while.
Yeah, he did for a while. I want to say like 2 years he did it, right?
Mm-hmm. And he gave up. Like, he was a quitter.
Harsh.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's 60 Minutes either. It just seemed arbitrary.
It was just kind of a
I think the only reason it was 60 Minutes was so that they could put the thing up there so Beck Bennett had enough time to move.
Sure, and the joke about the Alibaba head of that company has the small face, cutting stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. You're looking back in 10 years and go, oh yeah, that insightful political commentary.
It was an easy joke, but I did like Taryn coming in as, like, there's a guy with a sharpened screwdriver who's here to see you. I'll just let him wait in the Oval Office. I don't know why that got to me. I like that.
He seemed like he was in a rush. He was running across the front lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of low-hanging fruits for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, I feel
didn't like the way Jay Farrow said live from New York at Saturday Night.
I like that he said it.
I took really big issue with the way he said it.
Brian, do you just like it because of points?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they seem to be putting a lot of gusto in it. I don't know why, but it does bug me if they, like, break character to do it. It's complete nitpick. I don't know why, but yeah.
That is a really specific nerdy nitpick.
I don't think it is, because that's why it bothered me, because it was such a big... It was kind of jarring from him playing the president to him doing, like, some stupid-ass...
It was very broad. I agree.
Even in the sketch, he was kind of half breaking Obama when he was reading some of the tweets. I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that he was dropping it a little bit. And then I thought that maybe I was just being super hypercritical.
No, we're on the same team this week, Leah. For once.
For once.
Let's not bring up the movie Superbad and how much you hate it. But
I feel like I should be one of those, what are they called? Not a fluffer, but like the people who... What are the people who come in and they get people excited about things, like before shows?
A cheerleader?
No. Like, when they come
An
out,
opener? A stand-up mic guy in front of a show?
The people who warm up the audience.
Yeah, the warm-up person. That's their name.
Not a fluffer.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
No. Very different thing.
I'm sure a stand-up comedian would just be, I'm the fluffer of
the Ringer show, you know.
That's pretty much. I mean, I feel like there's an actual title for that.
Pretty sure just like a warm-up person.
I don't.
I do the warm-up.
The warm-up act.
Yeah.
I think Michael Che is legitimately the warm-up act for SNL. I was reading. We can segue into the monologue, but the girl who was in the monologue doing that AMA on Reddit mentioned that Michael Che did stand up to warm up the crowd.
And she just called him like the warm-up guy?
She didn't give him an official title.
She definitely didn't call him Fluffer.
No.
No, it's
he was totally fluffing the audience.
It's a comparison.
How are they similar?
But, I mean, you kind of, Fluffer kind of warms up the talent.
They're both holding some sort of cylindrical object.
Anyway, I think I would make a really good one of those. Not a fluffer. Once again, the warm-up person.
So, monologue.
Monologue! So, Brian, you were very happy about the monologue last night. I didn't get to see it live, but you were like, wait until you see the monologue.
It was my favorite monologue of the season.
Okay.
No, actually, it was really good. It was like, I saw a lot of people tweeting about it, like during the show and slightly afterwards, saying that was one of their favorite things. Like Cameron Esposito said, this is like transformative in her, comedian way. I thought it was really solid. Reminded me of Louie. Like she's a good stand-up, so she brings a lot of stand-up qualities to it.
But on the other hand, it wasn't entirely a stand-up act. It was definitely in her stand-up voice and how she was able to translate that. And I'm sure it was legitimately because it was probably too hard to just straight up do her stand-up act on national television.
Well,
so
the thing where she was sitting on Lindsay's lap and then like complimenting her and then said, "You go." That's straight from her act. I've seen her do that live. Where she pulled a kid up in the audience, sat him on stage, sat next to him, complimented him like, "You're a good kid. You're gonna find a girlfriend one day." Turned out he's like 22 and had a girlfriend. She thought it was 14 or something. And she said, "Your turn," and made him compliment her. So that was straight out of her act. It was It's always gonna be a little bit different because you're doing it live with a person who's not in on it. So you're gonna get different reactions. But yeah, that was definitely something from her act that she's done, and it was good. I liked it.
And even that would have been a decent monologue on its own. But then when she took questions from herself in the past, I thought that was incredibly... It was really clever and also something that is unique. There's, only a handful of people who could get away with that. Leah, what did you think?
I actually thought that...
You didn't like it, did you?
No, I really, really did. It's the first, I will say it's the first monologue that I've seen that I thought was actually really unique.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It wasn't someone doing a song.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody do anything like that for the monologue.
Like you said, there's very few people who can do that because even if you've had former cast members, how many of them were the plants in an audience for other hosts previously? Very few.
And doing it 3 times.
Then go on to become big stars.
3 times, especially, with 3 different questions that were perfectly out of context.
Yeah, I was wondering when they asked the questions, I was like, what exactly was that monologue?
My guess was All right, let's play the guessing game based on like what we think of the usual monologue / questions format. My guess is the dinosaur one. It was somebody from Jurassic Park, and the audience members. The conceit was that they thought that they were working with real dinosaurs.
Yeah. What do we think about the Wilson Phillips one? Like, what have you done now that you've broken away from Wilson Phillips? Was
it actually a person from Wilson Phillips, or was it somebody who looks like somebody from Wilson Phillips?
I think that's the joke. Is it somebody who looks like? It'd be fun if someone already has identified which episodes those were from online.
Yeah.
Well, she was only there for like half the season, right? She was there for like half the season.
One season, but like I don't think the full season. But yeah, it'd be great if someone could pull the names. But yeah, I think it's someone who looks like Wilson Phillips for that one. What else was there?
Leah, was there anything you wish that they had added on to it or that you didn't like about the monologue?
I feel like you're just trying to get me to say something shitty about Sarah Silverman.
No, I'm not. I'm genuinely not. I'm just trying to continue the conversation like a good host, and you're being a bad guest. So keep going.
I'm sorry. I met somebody named Lindsay last night as well. So that's something.
You can't get this from any other podcast, guys.
It's your top-breaking Lindsay news.
It is. So I can confirm that there are at least 2 Lindsays in the United States.
Is that including Lohan? No, she's in England right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 3, but three worldwide. We have that locked down.
Yes.
We'll continue to report as more information.
At least 3.
As more information comes in, we'll let people know.
Yeah, yeah.
Next up was The Fault in Our Stars.
Wait, hold on. There's other good bits from it. The redacted joke.
The redacted joke.
The redacted joke was great.
Black guy, God's mouth.
Black guy, God's mouth.
And when she started talking about, was it the end of Yom Kippur, saying, "It's okay, Jews, you can wear cotton blends in the summertime. No one's gonna hate you."
That's also from her stand-up.
Was it?
That seemed like the one, to me, as somebody who hasn't seen her stand-up act recently, I just assumed that was the one joke that they could air on national television.
Yeah. Like she doesn't consider herself a blue comic. She considers herself an important comic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she probably figured, you're not going to offend too many Hasidic Jews, right? Because they're probably not watching.
You would know? I don't know. Next was The Fault in Our Stars 2, which I really enjoyed. I think it's one of the ones that's really hitting on the internet today. Something I came out of this with is that Taron Killam does great reactions.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love his reaction shots, as well as the after he first found out.
Personally, yeah.
And stuff where he rolled away while when they were lying on the ground 5 feet away from each other. While the announcer was saying something about the USA Today says this is horrifying and panicking. I panicked, and meanwhile on screen he was rolling off out of frame. I enjoyed it.
The reveal itself of I have Ebola genuinely made me laugh really hard out loud. That was probably my biggest laugh of the night was when she says I have Ebola. I go, oh shit.
That's one that Twitter ruined for me. But even without having that surprise, I was genuinely it was a very enjoyable sketch. Leah?
Yeah, I liked it.
The catchphrases throughout were also very good. Sometimes the most contagious disease is love.
Oh, yeah, what did it? Because you can't quarantine your heart.
Because being sick doesn't have to be a life sentence.
And my favorite line was, if doctors know so much, then why did my dying from Ebola?
Vulture was. I read the Vulture review of the episode, and they were very happy with all the taglines. That sounded very similar to the actual movie marketing campaign.
Oh, for sure. I can imagine the writer's room just them pitching those out.
What did you guys think of Keenan being Terrence Howard?
I loved that.
He was pretty good at it.
I genuinely loved that.
It's she wants me to make love with her. Oh, no.
Ooh.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Just his very clipped. It was very all his responses were very clipped, but he was also having that kind of wise-ish pose. And I think that they were they called him Terrence Howard as the wise guidance counselor. It's oh hell no. And then it's maybe just a tip. Maybe. It was great.
Yeah,
you can get some respect. We'll talk about Keenan a bit more later.
Well, of course you are. He's in every sketch.
Yep. He's also on my team this year.
every sketch.
Ugh,
Uh,
don't go that far.
I'll let you guys are in. Next was Whites, which Keenan was not in.
Was
Keenan
not?
was
I didn't even notice.
It was here's the thing, Mike O'Brien is alive. We know him. We know he's around.
I was so
weeks in a row
excited to
now.
see Mike O'Brien.
He's allowed on the show. I don't know if because I originally drafted him, I get his points instead of Pete Davidson points because I
can't
actually
really argue that.
I would have gotten more Mike O'Brien points than Pete Davidson points.
But not net. You would have gotten more Mike O'Brien points last week. Had to be.
I
net.
like how they probably only pulled in Mike O'Brien because he looks so white. Because they could have used Kyle Mooney, but Kyle Mooney doesn't quite look white enough, right? Where Mike O'Brien's like blonde hair, blue eyed.
Yeah, he's not Mike. Kyle Mooney isn't clean cut white. He's like kind of crunchy granola white a little bit. Not like Beck Ben is clean white, and like that's what the ad clearly was going for. Just like we're the best whites and we're on top.
Super white. They're like super white.
Suburban, clean cut. Do you
Pretty
think
much Aryan white?
Do you think maybe it was filmed before he got demoted? Because it's a pre-taped bit.
No, Silverman was in it. Silverman was in it.
But if you listen to Sarah Silverman's audio, she's by herself. She's not in the group one, right?
She was in the group. She was in the group shots at the end. Yeah.
Because I was thinking they just plugged in her footage because it looked like her footage was shot.
No, I think Rob's right. It was behind the scenes stuff of them. Like Taryn took pictures and he tweeted them about behind the scenes pics of them filming it. There's one great one of I want to say it was Aidy and maybe
Vanessa up on the table.
Yeah. And I tried to get an up the skirt pic, but it turned out to be a really cute pic of these two instead.
I don't know. Maybe it's like a mix where like they filmed the confessionals last season and it had a past host and it didn't work out, and so they reused the confessionals and then they had to refilm the party scene at the end with Silverman and O'Brien next to each other. I don't know. It was just
overthinking it.
No, there's some vast conspiracy. Mike O'Brien is trying to stay on the show.
He could have just come in for
that. You don't understand. He's trying to stay on the show.
What are you doing right now?
You don't understand. He's trying to replace Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson is at risk. Where did Pete Davidson go? We don't know.
Davidson.
Hashtag save Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Hashtag cancel SNL.
He also poisoned
Okay, well that took a weird turn. Let's say that. And it wasn't me doing it, which is I'm a little uncomfortable with.
Oh, by the way, you skipped a sketch. In my order, you missed Heaven with Joan Rivers.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. Yeah, well, all right. So
point, I'm sure.
Next to talk about. Oh, actually, well, a couple of quick notes for the whites.
It's uncomfortable to say it, isn't it?
I know, right? I loved the. I think they could have even hit it more. The references to camping and hiking. Loved that.
Yeah.
Multiple people saying it over and over. I loved Vanessa. Two different reactions. Vanessa's half offended, like, "Hey," when like Beck Bennett suggested female presidents, and she just goes, "Hey," and then like laughs to herself. And then Karen Killam killed me with his strange like pride at white people having landed on the moon.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's not forget what we've accomplished. And like underneath the narration of that, he's holding an image and he's like tearing up. It's like, yay, white people.
And the tag we've got until 2050, 2060 maybe.
Tops. Yeah. That was great. Anyway, so Brian, do you want to talk about Joan Rivers? It sounds like you were excited about it.
Well, I like it because there's a lot of impressions, and impression points are good points. And I was like looking, 1, 2 cast members, all right, that's good for me.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, the impressions are worth points?
Yeah, doing an impression. Like Jay Farrow gets points for playing Obama.
He gets points because that's recurring. You don't get points.
No, there's impression points too.
Let me look this up. You keep talking. I'll look this up.
I'm pretty sure there was.
And I don't think Bobby Moynihan counts as doing an impression. He was just in costume. He wasn't doing an impression.
He was a real person.
Leah, you don't think he was staying up late at night watching paintings of Benjamin Franklin in order to get the essence? Just like Daryl Hammond when he does an impression
points that he definitely gets one because Ben Franklin was a real person. That counts. Whether it's an inimitable person, it's a different argument.
We're not arguing over. We're really not arguing over whether it's an impress. We're not arguing.
I didn't really believe him as Benjamin Franklin. That's all I'm saying. I didn't really buy it.
It was almost like he just put on a wig and a suit, and he just like talked in his own normal voice. I don't think he captured the Benjamin Franklin essence, as we all know from archival news footage.
He could have done better, you know. He could have had a turkey. That would have been funny.
Look, okay, so I'm looking at the points system now that Russell typed up at the beginning of the season. Sneaker-upper is worth something, and recurring impressions are worth something, same as any recurrent character. There's no points for just an impression of another person.
Should be.
So hopefully we'll get Bobby Moynihan as Benjamin Franklin again this year.
I think we should get on Twitter right now and demand a social justice campaign. Bobby Moynihan as Ben Franklin.
Cancel SNL unless we get more Moynihan as Franklin. That's probably like
Jay Farrow as Richard
characters.
Pryor.
Yeah. Well, Jay Farrow as Richard Pryor. There was one specific thing where Joan Rivers accused him of not being able to keep in his pants, and he frowned, and just that look of the mustache and the frown. That's for some reason the picture I have in my head of Richard Pryor, and it was spot on. It was great.
Yeah, the joke, the longest relationship he's been in was with multiple sclerosis, and his reaction to that was perfect.
Leah, what was your favorite impression?
Mm.
I just want you to be positive.
Ben Franklin, wasn't it? It was Ben Franklin.
You want me to be positive?
About something.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. No, I don't know. None of them are.
I thought some of the jokes
obviously Sarah Silverman is Joan Rivers.
That was a solid impression. I don't
realize how much she looks like Joan Rivers.
She flubbed a bunch of lines. It was kind of unfortunate because it killed some of the timing of the stuff. Yeah.
No, actually, I thought it was weird the people that they had because Sashir doing Eartha Kitt wasn't even a very good Eartha Kitt, and
she was out immediately. She was just gone.
Yeah, and I don't know, it just didn't make any sense to me. And then Cecily Strong not speaking as Ava Gardner, I also didn't understand that.
Maybe she had lines, but they got cut, whether the impression wasn't strong or for timing or something. Adam Levine got to talk as Freddie Mercury.
I thought he was pretty good as Freddie Mercury. I might go with him as
there was
best.
In this sketch and his other appearance, there was a certain
Whoa, when was he in it again?
Maybe there were a couple sketches that weren't on the internet because of music rights. You might have missed it.
Oh, okay, yeah, so I didn't see those.
Okay, there was a proposal in a car. Did you see that?
Nope.
Okay, we'll cover it. We'll keep you up. We'll keep you up to date.
Great.
But there was a stiffness to Adam Levine, or it was a weird mix of stiff but really enthusiastic, and looking straight at camera and mugging a tiny bit. It was weird. I don't remember him being like that when he hosted.
I don't think Adam Levine's very, very good acting-wise, and it's interesting to me that he keeps getting acting gigs.
Yeah, what movie or show was he in recently?
He was in American Horror Story.
Yeah.
He also tries to act in his music videos, and I think that's a mistake. Because he's not good.
Should we, is Brian going?
Where did Brian go?
Yeah, I don't know. Brian?
He's just a black screen.
Brian, what happened, Brian? All right. Well,
nobody.
Yeah, I'll try to get him back, but looks like we'll just have to talk a little bit. But
oh no!
How awful! I don't know. Maybe. What did you think of Forgotten TV Gems? Because it was my favorite sketch of the night.
I don't know if it was my favorite, but I loved Keenan in it.
Yeah.
Used to what?
Look, I want Brian here to react to this, but this is my favorite Keenan sketch in years. Maybe because he's on my team now, I'm really looking for times when he shines. But he pulled off so many great lines. So many. Oh, yeah, Brian dropped out. Yeah, I'll try and get him back, but we'll keep talking.
I thought he was, pretty awesome in that. When he was talking about his wife.
Yeah, and then...
I am not a guesser. Is that what he said? I'm not a guesser.
I am not a guesser. Just ask my wife. Last week she was asking, hey, where are we going or something? Where do you think we're going? And I said, I don't know. Or what am I doing? Trying to get your fat ass into the back of the car? And then he cuts to camera 3. That was the genius part. Obviously, I don't know if he came up with it in rehearsal or something, but like, turn to camera 3, and it's like, worst anniversary ever. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then later on, at the very end of the sketch, it's like, don't ask me. I am not here to answer those questions. Not at this point in the game. What? Where did this go?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I didn't even think that the the stuff with the girls, I didn't really even think was very funny. But I love,
I still love that stuff. I thought Cecily Strong was a good opening. She was good as the first person in the sketch because she really had like nailed down the exaggerated soap opera acting, and then like turning off with a switch as soon as the reveal was that she was like helping her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought Aidy Bryant was probably the best out of the ladies.
Well, she wasn't really doing soap opera acting. She was just coming in as her usual kind of normal person's persona, and then the laugh line and how perfectly ridiculous it shows the soap opera logic and kind of real world logic of like, your husband tried to kiss me, I believe you, and that was it. And it was just such an unexpected thing. And then Taron Killam's looking around silently going. And then Kenan Thompson, I don't know why. This was just such a good use of Kenan Thompson where it came back from Taron Killam quietly looking around to Kenan Thompson immediately going, did you see that?
Even he was confused.
Even he didn't understand. I did not necessarily like it. I don't know what they were going for, and I think it was just the audience didn't react right to it. But the story about like him saying that girls are just naturally going to attack each other. I saw one girl trip another girl in the street and call her a fat pig because she had the same iPhone case or something.
Yeah.
I don't know about that part, but like all the other one-liners were fantastic.
I thought that was funny, but he followed it up with, at least I think that's what she said. I was pretty far away.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to figure out what.
So what's the joke here?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what sounds like you old pig, because I think you said you old pig.
Is that what they were going for?
But I don't know what that could have. I feel like there's like something worse that sounds like you old pig.
Oh.
That they actually said, but I can't think of.
I don't know. Other than that, though, it was good. Isn't that weird? Brian's back. Isn't that weird? Yay.
No idea what happened.
We're on to Forgotten TV Gems now. Basically, the reveal was that I actually really loved Kenan in the sketch, and it might be because I'm trying to love him now that he's on my team, but I thought this was his strongest character and work. Just all the weird lines about his wife, turning to camera 3 to say best anniversary or worst anniversary ever.
Yeah. That was good.
The perfect contrast of like Taron Killam silently looking around confused and Kenan Thompson go like, did you see that? Or, isn't that weird? And that was a direct quote from Variety magazine. Not the regular one, the weekend one.
The big one that
recaps everything. Beat 2 seconds. Here's another scene.
The one I liked the most was, I think it was the last one. Your husband tried to kiss me, and I said no. I believe you. Yeah,
we covered that. Like, Aidy Bryant, it was so perfectly absurd in itself, but also kind of, it said something about the world. That's what it did.
Sadly.
That's exactly
the 80s look to it was a nice touch to it.
And then
shoulder pads and big hair.
Yeah. McKinnon was there. It was perfectly the best and worst of McKinnon because I love her crazy eyes, but I don't necessarily like when she does accents as strong as that. But
I actually thought it was a pretty decent accent.
I think it's technically okay, but like I'm kind of like, do we need this accent right now in the sketch? Like it's making, I don't know. But and there was some kind of.
Did you have a problem that they made the maid Latino?
Maybe that was my discomfort. Hashtag still no Latinas.
Not until 2060. Sorry.
Tops. But and then Kenan signing out. Not at this stage of the game. I have been The what?
The what?
Yeah. Ryan, help me. I'm being converted into a Kenan fan.
It's when you have them on your team, you like them that much more.
Just
like
let
right
it
now,
happen.
Kate
But
can
Leah didn't have him on his team last year. She just likes him
I did
as
have Keenan last year.
Oh, then the theory checks out. I'm sorry.
Keenan is the only person I got points from last year.
Okay.
So
All right.
of course, he was my little savior.
Shall we move on to Weekend Update?
If you want, I mean, it's your world. We're just living in it.
Okay. Do you want to talk about? Are you just annoyed with me, or are you annoyed with Weekend Update?
I don't know. Take your pick. Maybe a little both. It just seems so long. The last 2 Weekend Updates have seemed exceedingly long to me. Although I did like Al Sharpton. I did like Keenan as Al Sharpton.
Of course you did.
I didn't like Keenan as Al Sharpton that much. I liked
You
Lil
didn't like
Bits.
the Kevin? You didn't like the part where he kept
I liked.
Is it
So
Kevin?
on. Well, first of all, he screwed up like Jost. Who tells the jokes? I mean, let me take that back. Jost, who tells the joke, or like he thought it was 2 different sentences, but then after that, I think the Miss NBC, I think it's NBC for ladies, was like actually written in. But I'm wondering if like after he messed up the Jost part, was he improvising the Kevin and the pubis instead of PBS?
Could have been.
I don't know. It was interesting.
I didn't think he messed up that line. I thought that was...
Jost, who does the jokes?
Yeah.
That seemed like a flub.
No, it was a flub, and I think Jost's face gave it away. Where it's like, "Thank you, Colin Jost." Who jokes the?
Yeah, that was odd.
Let me take it back. Yeah, and then he said,
No, because he said... I thought he was just saying it... I thought he was making fun of, like, the pronunciation of it. I don't know. I thought it was... I didn't get that it was a mess up. Because Keaton's so professional and spot on. You
just see, like, angel wings and halos around him, don't you?
I didn't think it was a strong Sharpton thing. I didn't write down any of the lines. I can't really remember anything else he said.
No,
I thought it was funny. I guess because he just kept calling Colin the wrong name, and I thought it was pretty funny.
But even with, like, maybe it was even more one joke, but I loved Garage and her much more than
I didn't like
Sharpton.
I wasn't crazy about it.
No.
I loved it. I thought it was the right use of McKinnon's craziness. I liked the little bits with Sarah Silverman's instruments.
I like the little
doing it into her microphone.
Yeah.
I loved the little bits of like who counts as women. Italians are women. Bill Maher is a woman. I don't know.
I thought that was a weird choice considering the big Bill Maher, Ben Affleck.
I was immediately expecting some sort of Ben Affleck is also a woman, or Ben Affleck is not a woman, or I don't know. Like, just I wonder if they wrote it after.
It felt like they wrote that before any of that happened and just kept it in, regardless. I don't know. It felt weird.
Can I
if you're
ask
gonna
you
make a Bill Maher reference, how do you not make that reference?
Go ahead, Leah.
Do your eyebrows sweat? Just your eyebrows? Do they ever sweat just your eyebrows?
Look at my face and how confused I am right now. Look at my face and how confused and
sweaty your eyes.
I've started experiencing, and I don't know what's going on. I feel like, is that a sign of Ebola?
So this isn't related to SNL. You're just asking us about your life and just how your eyebrows have started sweating.
I asked you a question. I asked for permission to ask you a question, and you granted it.
Maybe it's hot flashes.
I thought it was going to be related to the show we're talking about, not just like, guys, have you ever thought about rainbows or like something unrelated to anything? I don't know.
Okay, sorry. Go back to Colin Jost.
Did you? Here's the thing. I was wondering if it was like, if Garage and her was maybe offensive to feminism. Do you have any kind of views on that?
Okay, there's some people that are going to be offended no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about feminists. I'm not talking about different ethnicities. There's going to be people offended by everything. I don't see it as offensive to feminism. I thought it was myself a feminist. I don't consider it offensive at all.
I thought it was clearly making fun of an extreme, the extreme version of it, but
I actually thought they were being for making fun of an extreme version of it. I thought they were quite gentle about it. Yeah. I think they could have gone much, much further, making fun of how ridiculous some, I mean, if you take any extreme ideal, it's absurd, and I think they could have gotten a lot more crazy with.
Because it was more silly than cutting.
Yeah. Because other than Kate McKinnon, when she first corrects Shay saying, it's actually Garage, I I didn't really. I mean, they both had lovely attitudes.
And the bits about like we just got back from a tour. It was one night. It was magical, and it was poorly attended. I liked it.
It was a good Kate impression.
Thank you. Do we? All right. What did we think of Jost and Che? I thought Jost again. Like last week, I said he was like better than last season. Not necessarily strong yet. I thought Che was pretty good, and now he didn't flub any lines. I thought he was really strong.
Che had a couple really strong jokes I liked a lot. The
who goes
to Texas and
who goes to Texas and Africa.
Yeah.
And perfect. When you eat the Jeter sandwich, when you eat it, you have a legendary number 2.
Yeah, and those were strong jokes to begin with, and he delivered them well.
I liked the Jimmy Carter peanut toast off of Hooker's ass. That cracked me up.
For something that we complained about last week, the lack of banter between them, I thought they had good banter this week when Jost was asking about words he can say.
And I thought Jost was actually strong in that. Like I thought,
I thought it was good.
I think he was strong in that.
I liked his little cool.
Can I say bae?
Cool. Can I?
No, you can't say bae because I'm a white person. No, because you're 30.
And I like the way it's kind of a mix where like I kind of like the structures they're trying to give Weekend Update where they can do runners on certain jokes. They have the like it's now been 2 weeks in a row where there's kind of like a back and forth between Che and Jost. I don't know necessarily about like there's something about especially Jost's jokes where he is very casual about it. Like something like the Japanese have invented robotic cheerleaders, but it's not what you think. They also have sex with them. Like there was something
a lot.
Me? I'm sorry I'm talking on this podcast. Now
I appreciated he went to Che as like an advisor in a way. Like, can I say these things? Like he was the junior correspondent versus the senior one in a weird dynamic. Like, is it cool if I say these things?
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't think about it like that.
It was a nice change on the dynamic from normally where he'd be the senior anchor.
I still thought that Che was better, and I thought he had better jokes. Like when he was like, "Yeah, there's things I can't say."
Yeah,
and I thought his
caramel
stuff
macchiato and
doodly-doo.
And
macchiato, that was it.
Thank you for your help, officer.
Help, officer. That was so good.
I think Jost is showing a bit more potential, and versus like say I read the AV Club review where it's just like Jost is clearly not cut out for this, and then like 2 sentences later it says that everyone calls him a Myers clone but Myers wasn't strong to start out with. He developed a really strong thing, so it was kind of a contradictory thing of like we need to give him time / he's definitely not going to be any good ever. It was a weird. I don't know. It's a weird dynamic I see kind of everywhere.
I think he has better chemistry with Che than he did with Cecily. I also think Keenan keeps coming on because him and Keenan have a good rapport. I think he loosens up a little bit more with Keenan.
I think he's good with anyone who forces him to break a little bit. Anyone who can make him like crack up, I think it's good. I'd like to see him with more people too. Like he was good with Keenan, but I like to see him with different people too, just to see where you're going to get that next little chemistry that you didn't expect.
Speaking of loosening up in Keenan, let's talk about Nebraska River Cruise Singers.
That was
okay, I didn't see that.
This was one of the musical ones. So to explain to Leah really quickly,
really? Okay.
The idea was that Keenan is like the host of like this a Nebraska River Cruise entertainment night. And he introduces like these three girl groups of singers who did "Rollin' on the River," like a song based on that. That's clearly the music problem, but it was Silverman, Strong, and Zameda, and they came on, and then they slowly like kind of revealed that like they hated on the cruise. Cecily Strong like left her job at Google and burned the bridge, and then they slowly start getting into weirder and weirder stuff.
Over the great joke there. The great joke is she called them all the F word. No, the gay one.
To burn the bridge. And I liked kind of the weirder ones, especially Silverman's, which were I wrote it down.
Was it her or Zameda said that I tried to jump off the boat, I bounced off and back into the boat?
The river rejected me.
The river rejected her.
That was Zameda. Because, it came out that they can't leave this boat. They're not allowed to.
At the Hotel California?
sure, you check in, but you don't check out. And then
Was it Silverman who had the 90-month contract?
Yeah, she was like, I signed up for a 90-month contract because I thought months, they're short. But no, 90 months is like 18 years or something. And then she said something about, like, I also had, like, has anybody seen Carrie? Because I can kind of move stuff with my mind. I don't want to get into it. This guy knows what I'm talking about. And then she just backs into the backup for the chorus. And then her second round, they did a second round of, like, confessions. And basically she came out and she said, like, we're not allowed off the boat, so I just exercised by screaming. Rolling. It was
and
fun.
they just jump back into the song. It's cool. I liked it. Everyone got a little spotlight.
Keenan comes back and he says he's wanted by park rangers because he kept a bear in his house. And every port that the cruise comes into, the park rangers are there waiting for him, and they just wave at him, and he just waves back because he's never leaving this boat. That was basically the end of the sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brian, what did you think?
I liked it. I mean, I don't think I got any points for it whatsoever. I don't think I had anyone in that sketch, and they were singing a lot, so that's a big loss for me. But I liked it. I liked the, like you said, the rolling confessionals that got weirder and weirder as you went on.
I liked
Sarah
some of those.
Quitting Google was a great touch.
I liked some of those lines. I really appreciated how much they went for the choreography and singing and energy and enthusiasm, even though the audience was having none of it.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
They were, like, not laughing at all, but kind of rightfully so, because I don't think it cohered into anything. It was just, like, a collection of funny lines.
Yeah, I think you got it wasn't like you didn't get where this was going. It was clear that they were doing the song, and they were each going to say something derogatory about the cruise, and especially when they did it a second time, you knew where it's going. It was just they got weirder with it, so it wasn't like it was like
I don't know.
Sketch.
I clearly by the end, like, it was just not going anywhere. And I think actually, if you watch, like, Silverman kind of drops the choreography a little bit. She's not like shaking in time as much as everybody else, but yeah, it was solid. And then that was followed up by another song cut from another sketch cut from online because of music. So it was basically Taron Killam picks up Sarah Silverman from the airport.
They cut that from online?
Yeah, because remember when they do the radio?
My favorite.
Remember when they do the radio?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to recap really quickly for
so good.
Sarah Silverman immediately, like, breaks down and admits that she cheated on her boyfriend, who turns out to be Bobby Moynihan, who's in the back seat and rises with, like, engagement ring ready to go. And Taron Killam's like, surprise! And then it slowly turns out that, like, her parents are back there and they're upset, and you can kind of see where it's going, where, like, she's just like, I brought you back some photos. It's like, you ruined my life, or whatever. And then Adam Levine is there because he was gonna sing "She Will Be Loved" as part of the proposal. And then at one point, they listen to the radio, and it's like 3 songs in a row that is about cheating. One is I think a Rihanna song, and then a country song that you would totally recognize if I could remember it, and then another song that was clearly original to this show and very specifically about this situation.
You broke my heart and brought me fudge.
Yeah, because she offered him fudge, and he was just like, I brought you a $12,000 engagement ring, and you brought me fudge. And then at some point, Adam Levine decides to get out after they reject his idea to go to Pizza Hut, and like a dummy version of Adam Levine gets hit by a car. It's weird.
And thrown across the car.
And also at the beginning of the sketch,
was it Beck? Was it Beck in the back seat?
As the father.
Yeah, and Kate were the parents, and they kept just talking about how uncomfortable they were in the back seat because there were so many people.
But I don't think it went anywhere. I really don't think it went anywhere. I was also very distracted, and you and Megan McKay were not going to help me with it. Where like the green screen footage, like it was like establishing shot of an airport. Taron Killam picks up Sarah Silverman with the green screen behind the car, and then like the green screen starts, and it just turns out that it's an on-ramp to a highway. It's not. It's like it's part of the free. It's in the middle of the freeway.
I like that you were thrown off by that. That really got out of the sketch. The green screen.
Poor green screen, SNL. Come on.
So it wasn't a video. It was a live.
Yeah, it was live. Like their green screen in the car, like
yeah.
Toonses type of thing. If you remember Toonses.
Yeah.
Why do you think it did not go anywhere? It just kept escalating. Like it's her boyfriend.
Well, maybe I guess it was escalating, and technically it was going somewhere. But I think it was except for the radio. Except for the radio, I thought like the one joke was over pretty immediately. And then like the turn it took where like everybody's like, actually, you know what? I could devour some Pizza Hut right now. It didn't really work for me.
No, I like that. I like the escalation of the parents and then Adam Levine randomly being in there, and the radio. I like that. It was good. It was uncomfortable, and I like the uncomfortable humor ones. I thought Sarah was really good too. They're just like, playing awkward.
Leah, to get you back in here, what do you think of the Good Neighbor sketch?
Which one was the Good Neighbor sketch? Was that the one where they like quote poetry and?
Yeah, and they start talking at the same time and falling in love.
I thought it was.
It wasn't my favorite Good Neighbor.
No, yeah. I didn't think it was a great way. That was the last.
Second last.
Yeah. Okay.
I
didn't really like the last two skits very much. I thought that was kind of weaker.
We'll argue about Vetromix in a second, or Vitamix, because I loved it. But Brian, what did you think?
I liked it. Again, it's not my favorite Good Neighbor sketch. I liked the slow music, like they stare each other's eyes and they finish their sentences, and the romantic. It was like a spoof, almost like romantic meet and greet, like the meet cutes. About the awkward situations.
Yeah, I liked the beginning of it, and I liked the, like, my worst nightmare. Like, I liked how I did like that part, but then I didn't like the whole Beck Bennett, beating up Kyle Mooney.
Yeah, that was the thing for me, because it was like, I remember, I think it was in an interview with Bill Hader like a couple weeks ago, where like Seth Meyers explained the concept of like a hat on a hat for a sketch.
Yes, you told me about that.
You have like one crazy the hook premise of the sketch, but then you introduce like another kind of premise to it, and like they kind of cancel each other out and just make it a little messy. So like I liked the idea originally of like everyone who talks to each other immediately like starts like saying the same thing and falling in love with each other, and then it
no matter what they're talking about.
Yeah, but then it switched into, like, the premise was just, like, the weird ways that Beck Bennett was beating the crap out of Kyle Mooney, and it was, like, where's this going? And, like, it seemed like an abrupt shift to me.
Yeah, it was like two sketches kind of melded together.
Yeah, I didn't.
Too much to buy into.
That. I loved the original premise, and I didn't like the turn that it took.
Yeah, I agree. I like the cinematography of it, too. It looked great. It had a weird ethereal quality to it, which I liked. But yeah, there was too much happening in it, I think, which is weird. Normally your complaint is this didn't end or this was one joke, but this had too much in it.
Finally, there was Vitamix. So Leah did not like it.
No, I would say that it was my least favorite sketch for the night. I did realize about 20 seconds before it ended, I saw the Vitamix logo at the bottom of the screen, and I was like, oh, this is a weird commercial. And I kind of laughed to myself a little bit that this was actually a weird commercial that they were doing. I didn't even notice
the Vitamix thing in the bottom until like near the end of the sketch, but I got there going for an infomercial right away.
Yeah.
Well, what I loved,
that was kind of funny.
I loved, and I think I said this on the chat, like I guess I'm just like a sucker for the format of like a commercial turns into like an examination of the person who has like this weird like life or obsession. Where like so it was like the Blue River dog food from last year, which I remember being very divisive as well. And
I hated the Blue River dog food.
Right, I loved it. Where it's just like it's like a very happy person, and then they're like, but you know why I need this? I need this because, and it like talks about like their very bitter personal life, and then like it just like keeps going, and then at the very end it's like, no, this is still a commercial. I don't know why it works for me. I liked it then. I like it now.
Yeah. It reminded me a little bit in just that it devolved in the same way of, God, if you don't remember this, I'm going to cry.
Here we go.
Super Happy Fun Ball.
I've seen Super Happy Fun Ball. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Where just everybody's way too happy about a ball.
The ball, and then it just goes. It has a weird list of like side effects. Like, if you're pregnant, do not use Super Happy Fun Ball. Super Happy Fun Ball was found in a meteorite and things like that. It just got weirder and weirder and weirder.
The weird. Making fun of the weird plasticity of like a commercial and that kind of like weird
fake environment of it.
Yeah, sterile environment where like everything is perfect and
it's so stilted. Like, oh wow, I would love this. Is really smooth. You're right. And just like, so how much was it? Oh,
I thought Sarah Silverman was great at that, where she was just like gently like pushing the issue, like. Really? How much was this, actually?
I was going to say 300. That's crazy.
See, I like Sarah Silverman in it. Kate McKinnon wasn't really working for me in that.
Vanessa Bayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I like Kate
White
McKinnon.
woman.
Vanessa Bayer.
Can't tell them apart, am I right, Brian?
I like both of them. I thought they both did a really good job.
No, I kind of don't love Vanessa.
Okay. You're wrong. You're wrong.
That's just good.
She's
Especially
very
when
good.
she was throwing it back at her, saying, "Look, just because you can't afford these nicer things." Like she's giving her attitude near the end of it. I like that a lot.
She's just so stale to me.
I don't think she's stale. I think she has a specialty. I think she has a specialty of playing these very kind of like uptight, a little bit like housewives.
Waspy.
Yeah, waspy, and like that's
I
also
think-
counterbalanced by her ability to play like young Jewish boys.
See, I like the young Jewish boy, but I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting how people doing one thing really well, you can really enjoy Aidy Bryant. I love Aidy Bryant's like one thing that she usually does in every sketch.
Mm-hmm.
But Vanessa, it really grinds my gears that she's the same in every sketch, and I don't find it funny.
You know what that sounds like? Our critique of Keenan.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it's interesting how it works for some people, and some people you enjoy it from, and then other people you just don't.
As much as I think that SNL, like the cast right now, is now selling into knowing who they are and what roles they fill, having just watched the Saturday Night documentary, where it's the 2008 cast, it does seem like there's kind of a lack of. I mean, even people I don't generally like I didn't like Fred Armisen on the show that much, but it did seem like there was a much more versatility in the cast at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fred Armisen or obviously Bill Hader, who will be great next week, unless they just decide to like slot him into very simple roles. But like game show host, he'll be a game show host.
Yeah, I mean, other than like Kate McKinnon and Taryn, which are obviously like the big hitters right now for the show, I feel like everybody has like the one thing they can do.
Yeah.
Obviously, like
and that's. Whereas I do think the cast before, everybody was wearing a lot of different hats and did have that versatility, and I don't feel like this cast really has that.
But then again, like I'm trying to think how many years, like probably the average number of years this cast has had. Like I think probably on average everyone's in around their third season or so, whereas we're thinking of like Sudeikis, Hader, Wig, Sandberg, Fred Armisen, Will Forte, Kenan Thompson, like they were all on the show for like years and years and years, and we're looking back on it having known that they spent 7 years there really kind of developing everything. Yeah. So I don't know, but I think overall we liked this episode. We thought it was solid to above average.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good term, above average, definitely. I mean, there wasn't for me a big clunker. There wasn't a big standout though either. Other than I think her monologue was probably my favorite bit.
Leah?
I think White's was probably my favorite.
White's is good.
I think it's good that there's a few different sketches that I think we'd all agree are like up there and could be the best ones, and then each one of us maybe has a sketch that we actually really liked. Like I liked.
Fault in the Stars is up there too. I'd say Fault in the Stars is a good takeaway from this. If you're gonna show one sketch from this episode, I could see being that one.
That defines 2014 in terms of Fault in Our Stars and Ebola.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's so topical.
That's a time capsule sketch right there.
Exactly, 2014 in a nutshell.
But yeah, like I really liked Forgotten TV Gems and Vitamix. Yeah, Leah really liked Reverend Al Sharpton. Brian really liked Airport Pickup, and then we all really liked Fallen Our Stars in the monologue. And yeah,
it was good. Yeah, it was.
I really think that this is probably one of the strongest episodes that I've seen.
Definitely of the season, probably.
Yeah, definitely of the season. I'm so glad they had a girl host finally. Like,
we've been having a streak there for a while.
Yeah.
I'm glad they broke that.
Mm-hmm. But right next to the men, right back to the men next week, and it's just like
white male.
White male. White
and now
male.
we're gonna like right now it's 50-50 and that's cool, but next week it's gonna be 66-33, and it's like.
We still don't have a host for after that. We'll probably take a couple weeks off, like you said last week. But we don't have any more hosts listed up, do we?
At this point, I'm really, unless they announce it during the show for Hader or something, I'm really expecting it's going to be like 3 weeks off. And actually, unless they decide to do
come back November
Halloween stuff on the 1st, Well, if they're off for 3 weeks, the first will be the first episode back. But if they do that, I'm wondering if they'll do Halloween sketches on the first, or they'll just do it in hate episodes tomorrow.
Halloween episodes?
If they're close enough, they'll do a couple of sketches. Like my favorite Halloween sketch that I can think of right now is Will Forte as the sexual predator who has to go to, and he goes to people's houses on Halloween. This is a John Hamm sketch. Yeah. There's a John Hamm sketch where it's like, I'm a sexual predator, and I gotta tell you about it as part of my And it's like, are you actually a sexual predator, or is this a costume? And it's like, yep. So strong sketch. I miss Will Forte.
That shows our generational divide there, Rob, because my Halloween SNL memory is, I think it was a Christian Slater hosted episode.
Oh my god!
Phil Hartman episode. It was Phil Hartman, Victoria Jackson, all them, and it was the McLaughlin group where they're all wearing Halloween costumes. It's like McLaughlin had like a vampire costume, and whoever else, like the ancient dated politicos round table wearing silly Halloween costumes. It was like, I want to say like 90.
All right. I don't understand you, because I was a baby. I was a baby at 90. All right. How about let's transition hard into points, because we gotta wrap it up pretty soon.
Sure.
So yeah, points this week. If anybody doesn't know, we're an SNL Fantasy League, and we're going to put away all the looking into the creative, artistic accomplishments of this episode, and now just look really analytically at how people showed up and just rate them on a point scale like they're objects,
like they're pieces of meat.
Yeah. So the top 3 this episode are Taran Killam #1.
Yay!
With unofficial.
You're not telling us. You're not asking us who we think it is.
Okay, I'll ask you for the #2, but I thought we were
#1.
I thought we were powering through this, but now you're just delaying us. So, Taran Killam #1 with 46 points by my count. Again, Russell may have different stuff by tomorrow. #2, who do you think, Brian?
Ooh, I'm gonna say. Jeez, I don't know. They're all kind of low in my head.
Oh my gosh, you want him to ask you, and then
you got nothing, and you have nothing. I'm on Leah's side.
I'll say Leah. No,
you say Keenan.
Keenan's gotta be two.
Keenan.
Okay, it's actually Beck Bennett.
Really?
He was everywhere. And but Keenan was #3. There you go. Beck Bennett 41 points. Kenan Thompson 39. Who do you think, besides Pete Davidson, was the lowest of the night?
Aidy? Gotta be Aidy. She was
Leah?
in 2 sketches.
Leah?
I'm gonna go Sashir.
Vanessa Bayer.
Really?
Yeah, I think most
of a little too much for me.
PSS, sorry, post-second song. Using some terminology here. In the point system, you get lower points for having the sketch point second song, so that includes.
Why is that? I think that's kind of a stupid.
The 10-1, I don't know, but yes. So she only got 3 points for that, and then she only popped up a couple times. Actually, thinking about that now, I think the Good Neighbor sketch was after the second song as well, so that might need rejiggering. But yeah. So overall, solid episode. Nobody really did amazingly. Everyone was in basically the 20s or the 30s in terms of points. Nobody's really, especially because nobody had Sarah Silverman, nobody's really going to come out ahead, except maybe me for having Pete Davidson. I might not get as many as other people.
Yeah, me too. Did you do points for Sarah just for exercise?
No, I didn't. But I would judge maybe 50s or 60s.
Really? I thought she'd be a little higher. She seemed like she was in most sketches, if not like 90% of them.
No.
She seems proud.
She sang a couple times, but I don't know if beyond that she did anything crazy.
She's free tape too.
Yeah.
She didn't kiss or anything like that, I guess. But I don't know. I thought she did really well.
Yeah, it was but I thought she did solid. She was really good. I'm sure we'll see her again as long as she's
absolutely she should come back.
As long as she's continuing on her career role of Wreck-It Ralph and Masters of Sex and Emmy for stand-up comedy, and Leah's being very quiet right now and it's making me uncomfortable. Do we think it's a fluke that Pete Davidson wasn't here this week? Is it just Lorne Michaels being like, you had a big week, you're going to sit out this week?
I think it was just the sketches he in got cut. That was it.
Probably.
I don't think that there was. I mean, obviously, just from the points, there wasn't really anybody who was, killing it this week, and so I feel like, yeah, he was probably just. I don't think it means anything.
Yeah.
I mean, especially he got really positive reviews last week. Everyone seemed to like him a lot, for the most part, anyway, that I saw.
Yeah, I don't think he's in danger anytime
he
soon.
didn't do well. Toast him.
It could be in combination with apparently Aidy Bryant was sick, and so yeah, it's hard to figure. We're not sure if that means certain sketches she was supposed to be in got cut altogether, or other people got slotted in, and maybe Pete Davidson or somebody was going to be in some of those sketches. So
yeah,
who knows?
I just think it's his sketches got cut after dress type of thing.
Yeah. We had a little bit of news, but it's not really time sensitive, and we probably want to wrap this up, so we'll hold that till next week. Yeah. If anybody hasn't seen it, I do recommend the Saturday Night documentary. It made me really miss that cast. It's very fly on the wall. It's not really.
Were you looking for a literal fly on the wall there?
No, there's a conversation happening between my girlfriend and my roommate right now, very quietly on either side of me.
Chicken for dinner.
Basically, I think it's something like that. But yeah, it's very fly on the wall. I know Leah said she had heard that it was very kind of fanboy praise and stuff, but really it's just watching these people come up with the sketches, and they're funny people. And the weird thing is, though, that you mostly are following a couple sketches, because I think at the beginning of the week they just figured out who they're going to follow around, and they ended up Will Forte and Bill Hader feature a lot in it. And Will Forte's main sketch, which was him as the director for that 800-588-2300 Empire Today. That commercial, the entire premise was John Malkovich, who was the host that week, was coming into audition to sing that song, and he just sings that line, and Will Forte is never happy with it, so it's just a whole sketch of him screaming at John Malkovich to do it again, in a way that only Will Forte could do, and it kills at the table read, which you see, and then it just flatlines in the dress rehearsal, and it never made it to air. And it was just really interesting to watch.
I love that kind of stuff. I love hearing that kind of thing where the cast and writers will talk about sketches that kill at the table and die at dress rehearsal. And just like their heartbreak over that sort of thing. Like, oh, it was so good, but the audience hated it.
Yeah. Leah, any thoughts on the episode overall? Are you looking forward to anything next week?
Am I looking forward to anything next week?
Yeah.
In life or on the show?
In life, just if you have like a hot date planned, or like a really strong, like there's this new cafe across the street you really want to try.
No, I'm still kind of wondering about the eyebrow thing. I think that's weird.
Will you keep us up to date? Will next week you'll come in and you'll give us an eyebrow update about?
I'm about to turn a certain age, and I just wonder, like, once you hit this age, like, do your eyebrows start sweating?
It's a magic switch that goes off.
For the love of God, please keep track of any Lindsays you might meet this week.
I will keep track of Lindsays.
All right. All right. Well, I guess that's it. And then so next week we'll be seeing Bill Hader, and I think we're all very excited about that. It'll be interesting to see what they get time to fit into the show, considering he was so versatile. But yeah, so thank you everyone for watching or listening, and if you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, it's at Deep Thoughts SNL. It tweets about news related to the show or alumni or promos coming out or anything. I'm at Rob Exists on Twitter and YouTube. Brian.
Damn it! I was all ready. You said my name. That threw me off. Coconut Phone 77 on Twitter.
And Leah.
I am at Leah Sueko on the Twitter.
All right, and yeah, so if you're listening to this, also feel free to check out the Trivia Club YouTube page where these are done in video form, and we are trying to live stream all the season. And yeah, look at triviaclub.blogspot.com for Russell's official write-ups. And thank you, everybody. All right, bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Trivia Club.